Hi, I'm Malorie Blackman, and you've been sending me in your questions, so I'm going to answer as many as I can. Have you always wanted to be an author, and when did you start writing stories? I haven't always wanted to be an author because it never occurred to me that I could be an author, quite frankly. But I've always loved stories, and I always loved writing my own stories and poems. And I used to do that from the time I was like 7 or 8 onwards. When I was growing up, I can't remember reading a single book that featured a black child like me, not one. And so I thought, actually, rather than whinging about it, I'm going to see if I can do something about it. Do you work on one book or idea at a time, or are you spinning idea plates? What a fabulous question. I work on one at a time, but I've always got about 4 or 5 ideas in my head. It means I can kind of think about them and they're on a back burner, but I'm really sort of I'm working on them in my subconscious. But I can definitely only work on one story at a time. Which book was the hardest to write? They all are. I mean, when I'm writing them, they all are. I think the one that was sort of the most challenging was probably Noughts and Crosses, and then followed by Chasing the Stars, my current one, which is kind of based on Othello. It's sort of like Othello but set in space, in outer space, and they were trying to write it so that even if you're not into sci-fi, then hopefully you'll still want to read it and enjoy it. What is your favourite moment when writing a book? That very first blank bit of my computer and I put chapter 1 and then I start. I love that. But I must admit, equally as wonderful to me is when I put the end. What inspires you when writing a book? So many things inspire me. I mean, it's anything and everything. The people I meet, the things I see. I'm incredibly nosy, but now I can just call it research. If you were asked to write a Doctor Who, would you? I would write one in a hot New York second, so the answer is yes, please. What is your favourite book? I always find that question so hard to answer because it's like asking me what my favourite food is, so my favourite piece of music, and I've got loads. I tend to like crime books. I love YA books. I recently read one by Sarah Crossan and I thought that was amazing. So I've got loads of favourite books that I love to read. When did you decide to channel your thoughts and opinions on topics such as racism into your books? I think I always have. Even from the fact that when I first started, I had to say, well, I'd like a black person on my cover, please, because my character is black. For me, it's about addressing a number of different issues, but addressing them in a way that I hope people don't feel I'm kind of preaching at them or hectoring them. It's about raising issues for debate. Who is your favourite character to write about? To pick just one favourite character I think is impossible because I love them all. They become real people to me, and when they laugh, I laugh, and when they cry, I cry. So yeah, I think I can't pick just one favourite. That's impossible. Will anyone ever make a film of Noughts and Crosses? It's my favourite book ever. Well, thank you very much. I hope so. Fingers crossed, and watch this space. How do you come up with your ideas and characters? Do they come to you randomly, or do they require loads and loads of planning? My story arc comes first. I always think, oh, what if this were to happen, or what if that were to happen? And that comes quite easily, but actually coming up with the characters is a lot harder. And what I do is I come up with characters that I want to inhabit my story, and then I will write a biography of all my major characters. What kind of music do they like? What's their favourite food? That sort of thing. So I really get to know them before I actually start writing. Sometimes my characters will take me to places that I hadn't expected, and they might say, well, actually, we're not going there where you want us to go, we're going to go over there. So I kind of trust them and I'll just go where they take me.